Right now on Good Morning America First Look, a new legal battle over President Trump's immigration crackdown, why a judge is now blocking the deportation of dozens of Guatemalan children, some as young as 7 years old. The order coming just as the flights were about to take off. The judge notified in the middle of the night.
A deadly midair crash near a Colorado airport, both planes bursting into flames. The crash coming ahead of the busy Labor Day travel rush. Today, millions of people under flash flood alerts for the holiday.
New details about the deadly shooting at a Minnesota Catholic school. We are learning one of the children who survived the attack and spoke to us about the heroism of his classmates came a lot closer to losing his life than we thought.
Breaking news, hundreds of people dead after a major earthquake rocks Afghanistan.
A risky rescue at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania. A boy getting lost ends up on the park's monorail balancing 100 feet above the ground.
Caught on camera, a college football player coming to the rescue after this fiery crash.
Plus, the stunning play as Miami battles Notre Dame in a thriller.
And later, Disney's famous Cinderella castle in the Magic Kingdom getting a new look.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Labor Day. I'm Lionel Moise in for Andrew.
Good to be with you. I'm Morgan Norwood. We begin with a new legal battle over President Trump's immigration crackdown.
A judge is now blocking the deportation of a group of Guatemalan children, the order coming just as the flights were about to take off. This morning, 76 Guatemalan children set to be deported by the Trump administration are back in government custody. A federal judge keeping them in the U.S. for now. She says she got a call around 2:30 a.m. yesterday notifying her that the children who arrived in the U.S. unaccompanied were being processed to be sent back to Central America.
Why under cover of darkness? If what you're doing is above the table and legal, you do not need to hide. The government was hiding, and they know it.
The Trump administration insisting it was acting at Guatemala's request to reunify the children with their parents. But the judge skeptical, saying conflicting narratives from both sides leave it unclear whether those children could face harm upon their return to Guatemala.
If these were, as the government presented them, benign repatriations that were lawful and, normal course of business, why pick up the kids at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning with 2 hours notice? The notice at 11 o'clock and then show up 2 hours later to pick up the child and sort of rush them out of the shelter.
An attorney who argued on behalf of the children says they were placed on 3 planes in Texas and one took off before turning around and landing back in Texas. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller saying the Biden judge is effectively kidnapping these migrant children and refusing to let them return home to their parents in their home country. It's the latest controversy in President Trump's ongoing immigration crackdown. Officials tell ABC News the administration plans to surge immigration enforcement operations into Chicago as early as this week. But Chicago's mayor signing an executive order to resist federal involvement.
We will not have our police officers, who are working hard every single day to drive down crime, deputized to do traffic stops and checkpoints for the president.
Overnight, President Trump once again criticizing crime rates in Chicago, saying crime is totally out of control in Chicago. 6 dead, 24 badly wounded last week alone. As for those Guatemalan children, the judge ordered them to remain in the U.S. for at least 2 weeks as the case plays out in court.
Authorities are investigating a deadly midair collision between 2 small planes in Colorado. One plane was about to land at Fort Morgan Airport, about 80 miles northeast of Denver. Both planes bursting into flames after hitting the ground. 1 person was killed, 3 others were injured. Well, more flooding could affect holiday travel in Texas today. Flash flooding in Houston, stranding cars after more than 6 inches of rain in some areas. Some highways in Dallas also turning into rivers. Checking the map, rain is expected today from Texas into the northern plains, but it's mostly dry on both coasts. We'll check your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Now to Minnesota and new details about that deadly shooting at a Catholic school. We are learning one of the children who survived the attack came a lot closer to losing his life than we thought. Here's ABC's Allison Cossack.
He's the boy who captured the hearts of millions after last week's shooting at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis.
My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit. He's really brave.
That's 10-year-old Weston Halsney praising his friend, who he says helped shield him from the barrage of gunfire during morning mass.
It was like right beside me. I was like 2 seats away from the stained glass windows. I think I got like gunpowder on my neck.
Now we're learning just how close Weston came to losing his life. It turns out that gunpowder was actually a bullet fragment, which doctors found inside Weston's neck, dangerously close to his carotid artery. Weston will now need surgery. For the first time since the violence, Mass resumed this weekend at Annunciation Catholic Church. The service held in the auditorium. The sanctuary remains closed after 10-year-old Harper Moisky and 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel were shot and killed while praying in the pews. 18 other people, including 15 kids, were injured. Father Dennis Zarin was presiding over Wednesday's service when the shooter opened fire. He tells our affiliate KSTP he did everything he could to protect the children.
It's a difficult memory, and my first instinct was just to rush towards where the bullets were coming from. If I could have got between those bullets and the kids, that's what I was hoping to do.
At the Vatican yesterday, Pope Leo, a Chicago native, speaking out against gun violence in the U.S.
Let us plead God to stop the pandemic of arms, large and small, which infects our world.
Weston Halsney's family has started a fundraising website to help pay for his surgery. Several other victims remain hospitalized, with handmade cards from their fellow classmates now adorning their hospital rooms. Lionel, Morgan.
All right, Allison, thank you. Breaking news overseas, the death toll rising after a powerful earthquake in eastern Afghanistan near the Pakistan border. The 6.0 magnitude quake hit overnight. More than 600 people there were killed. More than 1,300 have been hurt. Rescuers digging through the rubble for survivors. Officials say several villages are destroyed. Well, President Trump's trade war is pushing India and China closer, with leaders from the two countries now pledging to be partners instead of rivals. They made the announcement at a regional summit in China, and it comes after Trump imposed a 50% tariff on Indian goods as punishment for buying Russian oil. Vladimir Putin also attending the summit.
Former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani now in the hospital in New Hampshire recovering from a car crash. Giuliani attended a baseball game Saturday before stopping on the side of the highway to help a woman. He left that scene when police arrived, but then his vehicle was hit from behind. He suffered a broken vertebrae and injuries to his arm and leg.
Now to the risky rescue unfolding at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania. A boy lost and confused walking high up on the park's monorail, balancing 100 feet above the ground. ABC's Perry Russum shows us.
Terrifying video. A little boy standing dangerously on the edge of the monorail track at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania. The boy walking the metal beam as people on the ground yell for him to stop. Others yelling, keep going.
Stop! Keep going! No, keep going!
The young child reported missing Saturday evening, separated from his parents. He was spotted on the track 20 minutes later. Apparently overwhelmed and confused, the boy covers his ears. A bystander jumps into action, climbing on the roof of a nearby ice cream shop, clapping for the boy's attention. The man then makes the dangerous decision to jump on the track. He pulls himself up as the boy walks toward him, lifting him to safety.
Yes! Oh my God.
It comes just a month after 9-year-old Sophia Subidi, seen in this GoFundMe, tragically drowned in the wave pool at Hershey Park. The first guest to die in the park's 119-year history. Police say her death was accidental, stating it did not involve any criminal activity on the part of Hershey Park or its employees. Hershey Park says the monorail was closed at the time. They are thanking their guests for saving the boy, saying they are committed to the highest levels of safety. Perry Russum, ABC News, New York.
Glad he is okay. Time now for your Labor Day weather.
Good morning. As we wrap up the holiday weekend today, Labor Day, we have the possibility of some flash flooding this morning over parts of Texas, especially from Austin to San Antonio. Possibility of flash flooding downpours with thunderstorms right through this morning. Rainfall can last through much of the day into parts of the Central Plains. Meanwhile, Chicago to New York, really nice, upper 70s, very comfy out there. Some scattered storms along the Gulf Coast, and it's hot and dry out west. We're talking heat advisories, excessive heat warnings. LA getting up to 94 today. How about Sacramento, 102? Meteorologist Jeff Smith, ABC News.
Coming up, a murder investigation at the famous Burning Man Festival.
Also ahead, the battle over street art, including rainbow crosswalks and murals, escalating. Is the so-called war on woke going too far?
And later, three brothers finish an epic journey across the Pacific.
We're back now with this fiery crash on a highway north of New York. Just before the car burst into flames, a football player from nearby West Point and his father pulled the driver to safety. The vehicle had slammed into a power pole. The Army player, Larry Pickett, and his family were headed home after dinner in New York.
And a man's death at the Burning Man Festival in the Nevada desert now being investigated as a homicide. His body was found in a camping area, but his name and the details about his death were not released. The gathering, which attracts more than 70,000 people, ends today.
Well, now to Florida and the escalating battle over street art.
The so-called crosswalk wars in Florida are heating up.
We aren't going to stand for it.
Earlier this year, the state effectively banned crosswalk art like the rainbow mural seen here outside the Pulse nightclub, the LGBTQ club where 49 people were shot and killed in 2016. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says all crosswalk murals must be removed by this week, or the state will withhold transportation funding to municipalities.
I'm raising children here, and I want them to feel loved and accepted.
The state has painted over the murals several times recently after protesters colored the rainbow back in using chalk. A man was arrested Friday after strapping chalk to his shoes and walking over the crosswalk. And at least 3 arrests were reported during a protest yesterday. Governor DeSantis says the new rule banning such art is about making the roads safer. And he emphasizes all types of murals are being taken down.
They had to remove a Back the Blue. They had to remove some of these other things. And so it spans different things.
But opponents say it's an example of the governor's so-called war on woke going too far. They say most of the state's painted crosswalks represent marginalized communities.
I think it's just erasure, plain and simple.
2 pastors were arrested in St. Petersburg after protesting the removal of a Black History Matters mural.
I felt really called to be there and to have my knees on this beautiful mural, and that I would stay there until my prayers were answered.
The pastor claims the governor's argument that removing the murals makes the road safer is not based in fact.
I think that's an excuse. I think the real goal is erasure, and I won't have it.
And a Bloomberg study finding that crosswalk art made intersections safer, with the number of serious crashes dropping by more than a third.
Coming up, new research on weight loss drugs and the effect on your heart.
Also ahead, this video as drones are used to protect cattle from wolves in the American West.
Back now with a car plowing through the entrance of this grocery store. This was near Seattle. 1 person was killed, 4 others seriously injured, including the driver. Investigators now trying to determine the cause. They say the driver is elderly.
The maker of Wegovy says the weight loss drug reduces the risk for serious heart problems by more than 50% compared to its competitor Zepbound. The study involved 20,000 overweight and obese adults aged 45 and older with a history of heart disease. They found Wegovy led to a 57% greater risk reduction for heart attack, stroke, and death. And a new study shows a commonly prescribed blood thinner may be more effective than aspirin when it comes to preventing heart attacks and strokes. Researchers say the drug sold as Plavix had a lower risk of life-threatening conditions for patients with coronary artery disease without a higher risk for major bleeding.
We turn now to the West and a new way authorities are protecting cattle from gray wolves. These newly released images show how the Agriculture Department is saving cattle from being attacked by wolves.
You're up with the drone and you're using the thermal camera to just monitor for wolf presence near the cattle.
The department is using drones with thermal cameras to reveal any wolves lurking nearby. Once spotted, they play certain sounds from the drone's loudspeakers to scare them off, blasting everything from the sound of fireworks to the AC/DC song Thunderstruck. But what apparently works best is the sound of people yelling.
The human voice was the strongest response out of all the other sounds that we were playing, whether it was a sound, the gunshots, what have you.
They were absolutely right.
All your best acting is behind you. You're back to being a hack.
This clip of a couple arguing from the movie Marriage Story does the trick. Gray wolves, once nearly extinct, have made a big comeback across the U.S., which is good news, but not for cattle ranchers.
They're going to basically go after cattle because they're a much easier mark than they are deer.
Ranchers say they appreciate the help the drones provide, but worry the wolves may eventually get used to them.
At some point, the wolves are going to figure out, yeah, that thing makes a lot of noise, but I'm still hungry and I still want to take down whatever it is they're going after.
For now, the drones are working. After being deployed in Oregon and California, cattle deaths from wolf attacks have dropped significantly. And if the pre-recorded sounds don't scare the wolves away, the drone operator can improvise by yelling through a microphone.
All right, well, coming up, a new look for Disney's famous Cinderella Castle in the Magic Kingdom.
Also, the scandal over the CEO who stole an autographed hat from a boy at the U.S. Open. Time to check the pulse, and we begin with three brothers rowing into the record books.
Yeah, you gotta hear this story. They set a world record for the fastest unsupported row across the Pacific Ocean. Jamie Ewan and Lachlan McLean took 139 days to row more than 9,000 miles nonstop from Peru to Australia.
And they overcame seasickness, injuries, and storms to raise nearly $1 million for charity. And I love this. As they neared the end, they called ahead asking for beer and pizza.
Pretty good call.
Well earned. All right, next. College football's first big weekend, serving up a catch of the year candidate already.
Yeah, last night, Miami taking on Notre Dame. Hurricane CJ Daniels making this spectacular one-handed grab to give Miami the lead. And with just about a minute to go, Miami hit the game-clinching field goal, winning it 27-24.
Go Canes. Next, the fallout at the U.S. Open after a man was seen stealing a tennis player's autographed hat from a kid. The man, a millionaire CEO from Poland, is being vilified online, being called all kinds of names, including a shameful jerk and a sack of garbage. So the player used the internet to find that boy, gave him another signed hat and some other gifts. He says the guy who took the first hat was probably just a bit excited.
Player is a class act.
All right, everyone wins. Next, it seems Jaws can still take a big bite out of the box office pie.
Oh yeah, the re-release of the 50-year-old classic took in about $10 million in theaters this weekend. That is good enough for second place, and it's better than 2 new movie releases. Well, next, Cinderella's castle is getting a makeover.
After undergoing subtle changes over the years, the landmark at Disney's Magic Kingdom was painted pink and blue in 2021 for the 50th anniversary celebration, but now it's getting some new colors. I want to show you what the new castle will look like. There's grays, creams, and blues, and some touches of gold.
Love it.
Finally, the Powerball jackpot keeps on growing.
Oh yeah, no one has hit the jackpot since May, so a winning ticket for tonight's drawing is now worth $1.1 billion. If you take the cash option, or $98 million.
All right, top headlines next.
Checking more top stories, dozens of Guatemalan children, some as young as 7 years old, are in legal limbo this morning. The Trump administration wants to deport them to reunify them with their parents, but a judge has halted their removal, at least for now, saying it's unclear if the kids could face harm upon returning to Guatemala.
More than 600 people are dead after a 6.0 magnitude earthquake hit eastern Afghanistan. Authorities say entire villages in the remote region are destroyed.
Sex abuse victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell are heading to Capitol Hill tomorrow to meet with a bipartisan group of House lawmakers. And Wednesday, some of the survivors will hold a news conference with lawmakers, pushing for the release of the Epstein files.
Bill Belichick makes his college coaching debut tonight as his North Carolina Tar Heels face TCU. TCU has never beaten the Tar Heels.
Today's weather, rain from Florida across the plains and into the southwest, but clear skies for the northeast, the Midwest, and the West Coast.
And finally, a soccer star forming a special friendship with a fan.
And it started with a simple request.
This morning, one young soccer fan getting the experience of a lifetime. 16-year-old Jenna Friedman in shock when she got a ride to a Washington Spirit match and saw the woman behind the wheel. It was none other than Spirit star player Trinity Rodman herself.
My face is just in utter shock. Still smiling about it. Hey y'all, we're on the way to the Spirit game with Let's go Spirit! Oh my god!
Last year, Jenna used a sign to ask Trinity to join her for a TikTok video as part of her birthday celebration. Trinity going above and beyond, co-starring in the now viral TikTok. The soccer phenom also offering to send Jenna to a home game.
She joined my live again and was like, what if I flew you up to my next home game?
The two sparking an instant connection, spending time before the game walking down the players' tunnel, snapping photos, even hanging out on the field.
It felt like we were basically on the field from where we were sitting. Just a unique experience. She's such a young player. She's already in her prime, and me thinking that I could have a chance to play with her one day is also something that really motivates me to be better and never stop the grind, to always work every day.
A star athlete making friends with a fan, more evidence that in sports, sometimes it's the relationships off the field that matter most.
So true, and in case you recognize the last name, Trinity Rodman is the daughter of former NBA star Dennis Rodman.
Just a talented family. That was just a beautiful connection. That's your Good Morning America First Look.
Have a great Labor Day.